Hey out there, all you coders. This week's homework assignment was to use the costume changes to simulate animation. And I'm going to walk through how to do that using this project I have here that you should have received in your email, or potentially is in the links below in the description of this YouTube video. So here it is. So as you can see, the ball drops, does a simulated compress, plays a sound, changes direction, goes up, comes back down, back up, compresses, and that compression is being done through custom changes. Now let's look at the code to see how we did this. So we're going to go see inside, and here you'll see I have the big complex version that has some math worked into it. But we're gonna start over on this other side over here and kind of walk through how this is done. So first, we want to switch to let's look at our costumes. We have 6 costumes. We have the big ball, we have a smaller ball that's a little wider, a smaller ball that's a little wider, and actually I did not do the wider. So the idea is the ball just compresses. It doesn't, like if you threw a real ball at something, the ball would compress and it would expand side to side. So as the ball hit the wall, it would go bong and it would spread out, and then when it stopped moving forward, it would change direction, and as it spread back out to its normal shape, the sides would go back in. So you'd get the brrrr. So here, just to simulate it, just for simplicity, I just go big ball, a little more shorter, 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 and shorter. And you get a fair representation. We can make it more complex later on, but this is just a first pass just to kind of give you an idea of animation. So one of the other things to keep in mind is you can zoom in over here on this. You can zoom in on the stage really, really big, what that helps you do is now I can see my ball. I go into vector mode, and when I click on it, you can see I can now resize it by dragging the sides up and down without moving the middle. So if you wanted to do this, see, you could move it by 1, move it by 2, and then the next one, you would duplicate your sprite and make it smaller and smaller and smaller. Or if you're trying to draw a leg, you could arguably, let's create a new sprite here. In one costume, I could say, let's zoom out to 100%. Let's go a little bit bigger than 100%. I can say, here's my leg in this one. And now I go duplicate, and I look at that sprite. Now I go, no, I actually want my leg now to be here. So see, I'm looking at the prior one. Now I come back in here and I erase the first one, right? Just erase that first one real quick. And now you can see leg 1, leg 2. And now I could go, well, now I want another one. And now I'm going to come here and I'm going to go, okay, now here's leg 3 of the running man that's only got one leg. So wipe that out. And now I got leg 1, leg 2, and leg 3. So that's how you can go about doing that. Now, there's all kinds of nuances in there and all kinds of little subtleties that you'll figure out as you go along, but that's a good way to start. So we're going to delete that one. So anyways, so now we're back to the ball, and you can see the ball compresses down as it goes through space, right? So we have costumes 1 through 6 starting with big ball and ending with this costume 6. So now let's look back here at the script. So to cycle through the animation, you can think of it as, okay, repeat 6 times, go to next costume. And then when you're done with that, now start and go back the other direction. So I start with the big ball, get next costume with smaller, 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 smaller until we get to 6. And when we get to 6, now it knows it's at the end and it goes bigger, 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 back the other direction. So that's how we're doing that. So to kind of cycle through that, now we go, okay, we'll move to the wall, bounce, move to the other wall, bounce, move to the other wall, bounce. And so I do that by saying start, switch to the big ball costume, go to the middle of the stage, roughly 100Y, which is up in here. So we got 100Y right about there. So it starts there and it says, now forever, change Y by -6, and I'll explain why I do that in a second, but then repeat until you touch the edge. So I keep repeating this until I touch the edge, which says change y by -5. So it's going down, 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 down by 5. Now when I hit the edge, it falls out. So I repeated the -5 until I touch the edge. Then I go until you're touching the edge again, go +5. So it goes down by 5 until it hits the edge, and then it goes up by 5. Now, here's where a little bit of math comes in here, because you need a little bit of complexity. So think about this. I'm going down by 5 every time. Well, what happens when my ball, let's say we're going down by 10 instead. So I go 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10. Okay, so now I'm right there, right? And now I say, okay, now you're touching the edge. You're done. So repeat until touching edge. I went down by 10 until I touched the edge and I stop. So I go to the next block, which would be repeat until touching edge, go 10 in the other direction, right? Well, the small problem is that I'm already touching the edge. So I came down until I was touching the edge, which the last one, I was right before I touched the edge. And so I said, go down by 10 more. Well, when I went down by 10 more from not touching the edge to touching the edge, when I'm at the last pixel, I'm now touching the edge by 9. So guess what? When I tell it to go the other direction, it doesn't go the other direction by 10 and then go until it touches the edge again. It says, am I touching the edge? Yeah, I'm touching the edge. I'm done. So if I take out these, let's drag these out of here. All right, so we're going to take these two, change y by a certain amount. Ugh. We're taking that out, and we're taking this out, and we're dragging these two back in here. So forever, having technical difficulties. So forever, repeat until you touch the edge. So start at x is 0, y is 100, and until you touch the edge, go down by 5. And then when you get done, when you're finally touching the edge, now go up by 5 until you touch the edge. Let's try that. You'll see what I'm saying. So go down, stop. See? It went down by 5 until it touched the edge and stopped. And then it went to do the next thing. And so it says, hey, I'm touching the edge. Time to do the next thing. The next thing comes on and says, well, until you're touching the edge, go the other direction. Well, I'm already touching the edge. It doesn't say which edge. It just says edge. So the way we fix that is if we're going down by 5, when you come back around and start going up, or excuse me, when you start going down again, you're going to want to go, well, I went up by 5 before, so I could be as much as 5 in the hole already. I could be touching that side by as much as 5. So I want to go back the other direction to make sure that I'm not touching the edge before I say start going down until you touch the edge, because you could be touching the top. And I want to do the same on the bottom. So if I'm going down, 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 down until I touch the edge, I could be touching that edge by as much as 5 pixels at the bottom. So to go back up to say, okay, now go up until you touch the edge again, I need to go up at least 5. So we say go up by 6. So let's try this. Go down. Oh, okay, there we go. Go up. Oh, there we go. So now it'll just keep cycling back and forth, because even if it's touching the edge, I'm telling it to take a jump, take a little bit of a jump, so you're not touching the edge, so you start doing that next chunk of logic. So that's what that math does. So now we got our ball bouncing back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. So now we could do our costume changes. So now I could drag in here and say, okay, change y, but repeat until touching edge. So when we touch the edge, now I want to play the sound. So it only plays it on the bottom. So now we want to drop it and say, repeat until touching the edge, change y by 5. So when we get down here, we're touching the edge again. Boing. Okay. So now we got the sounds on both sides. So now we want to get the squishy squishy thing, right? We want to start cycling through our costumes. So now we want to come over here and say, okay, repeat 6 times, go to the next costume. So it's just going to cycle through the costume, cycle through the costume. And then we're going to say, repeat 6 times, cycle through the costume in the other direction. So if we do this, you see you get kind of, well, let's stop this. Stop. If we do that, you see you get kind of that crunchy look, right? It goes small and big and small and big. Same with this one, same exact code, does the same exact thing. So now, as it hits the wall, so you're going down, going down, going down, you're touching the wall. Now you're going to want to make it go crunchy as you're playing the sound. So you play the sound, and then you get crunchy. Same down here. You play the sound, and now you get crunchy. Ah, but we have a little bit of a problem. So where the animation's happening is as you hit the wall, it says I'm touching the wall, so now I'm going to squish and expand. I'm going to squish and expand, but it changed, it stopped its forward direction. So it's touching the wall, squish, touching the wall, squish, touching the wall, squish. But what we really want to do is we want that ball to continue moving towards that edge until the ball is completely smushed. And then as it's completely smushed, we want it to start moving back the other direction. So we have to tell it to move a little bit more as it cycles through costumes. So right here in this repeat 6 times, show the next costume, we need to say, okay, right now you're going down by 5. You're going to play this sound. Now you're going to continue to cycle through costumes, and I want you to continue to move towards that edge a little bit more. So it continues to move towards that edge until it says, okay, I'm done with the costumes. Now I'm in the next one. Well, I want you to start moving back the other direction as you expand out so it looks like that ball bounces off. So a little hand wavy math and a little bit of magic, and this is where you end up. Now see, hit the wall, so hit the bottoms, keep going as you stretch, keep going, keep going. So that's how you get at least bouncing kind of animation. Now, your animation may be a dude kind of walking like this. It could be a lot of different things. But this is just one way to kind of simulate a bounce along with the noise. So now again, we created a custom sprite with a series of 6 costume changes. We created a boing sound, imported that, and then went and said, okay, now as we cycle through this, play this costume change, and now you've got animation. Now, have fun. If you have questions about your homework assignment, let me know. And again, the homework assignment was create a costume change to simulate animation. Do an animation using costume changes in a sprite. So have fun. Let me know if you need help.